We are here with the Dirt on Gardening podcast. We were awaiting our partners here, our co-host. We're waiting for Urban Gardening with Gray and the Chocolate Botanist. This is episode 18, I believe, of the Dirt on Gardening podcast. And today we're going to talk a lot about pests. That's definitely me. There we go. All right. I don't see you guys here yet. Let's see. Here. And I see the Chocolate Botanist, and you're both invited up here, guys. What's up? What's up, Gray? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Derek, what's going on with you, man?
Hey everyone, I am doing fantastical. I can't complain. How you?
I am great. I just got back from my nice vacation, so I've been away for a while. Sorry that I missed the show last week. It was my 24th wedding anniversary, and it was hard. It was hard to sneak away. I was trying to find a way to make it happen, but if I wanted to have a 25th anniversary, that wasn't going to happen.
You
Yeah.
right about that. Now, did you say Suri? Is that what you said?
Now,
I
you
catch
know, the funny
everything.
thing is, there's two words that I say that people say, "Oh, you're Canadian," when I say those two words. And one of them is sorry, and the other one is tomorrow.
I caught that.
And
I said, this is just like a drug
I
queen
don't
movie.
even know how you guys say those words, because when I say it, I feel like I'm saying what you guys say. But
Sorry, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
say tomorrow again.
Tomorrow.
Like you just
Tomorrow.
drop the
Tomorrow.
W at the end. Tamara. Is that what I'm
Tomorrow.
supposed to say?
Uh-huh.
Tamara.
I mean, now that's what I say as an Eastern Carolinian. So you can't jack my swag. But
Tomorrow.
I'm gonna be saying Suri from now on. I'm excited.
Not Surrey. It's just sorry.
Now, Gray, no, I said exactly what he said.
But see, you guys, I can't talk because I will mess up a word in a minute. I mean, don't even get me started on sequence and sequence. I mean, that's the same word if you ask me.
It is
Wait, sequin?
Yeah, like the
sequence and
dress, right?
sequence.
Like if a
Yeah.
woman has a nice dress on and has a little
Okay.
sparklers, that's a
But,
sequence
well,
dress.
It sure is. I had a pastor. She would put a sequence hat with everything. She was like, I get a sequence vest and a sequence hat, and I was like, now is sequence that good? She's the person keeping them in business.
all right.
So
I get it. I get
congratulations
it.
to 24 years, man. That is awesome. I love it.
Thank
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I'll tell you what, I planted a bunch of trees in Mexico as well, and I ate the first fruit from one of my trees in Mexico, and it was a soursop. So I was
Mm.
super excited.
Mm.
I planted 49 trees, or not trees, 49 plants
Mm.
this went on this trip.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, you were working. So it's funny because this is your anniversary and your vacation, but you're still working.
oh, every single day, every single day. I was every single day. Like the people at the nursery got to know us because I thought we were done, but the next morning we were right back there getting some more plants. So it was great. And then planting in Mexico is a little different than anywhere else because it's all rock. So you're just a pickaxe is what you use to dig a hole in Mexico.
Wow.
It's a
Wow.
pickaxe.
Wow.
So did
One
you amend
one
that soil at all? Did you add any organic matter or anything?
I've been adding everything, all my prunings, all my grass clippings, everything is going back in. But the soil's crazy nutrient there.
Hmm.
It's super nutrient. It's just rocks, but a
Yeah,
lot of nutrients. Like everything produces there pretty quickly.
that's good. Yeah, yeah, because you got that high concentration of minerals there, so that makes sense.
Yep, yep,
Nice.
definitely. So what about you guys? What do you guys been up to?
Derek, you go first, brother.
Well, this past week I went to the North Carolina Botanical Gardens here in Chapel Hill, and we had the grand opening of the African Diaspora Garden. Now, I know what you all thinking. What does that even mean? There is a sect of garden that was a spearheaded project by some of the board members and people of the Foundation Garden of the North Carolina Botanical Gardens and people who are actually employees of the North Carolina Botanical Gardens that collaborated together with community partners in order to create a space to celebrate Black exploits in gardening. Now, this is even more important to me, as all of you tell us where you're watching from. This is even more important to me because my dear friend I keep referencing who passed, every seed that was starting bottle gourds and hot peppers and other plants that were important to the African way of life and those who were descended from African peoples was given by my dearly departed friend. And I loved to see the thing that she cultivated grow, even though she's not here with us. So I am ecstatic. I had a beautiful time. I didn't go to Black August in the park because I was tired. So that was it with me. Great, what you get into this weekend?
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna say you guys had like an amazing time, did some wonderful things, and I kicked the hornet's nest because on YouTube I made the mistake of telling people that electroculture is not real. And
Mm.
oh my goodness, I had so many people mad at me. They was like, no, this works. I was like, no, plants are not conductive. It does not work like that. I was like, no, you can't put copper in the ground. It's antimicrobial. It will kill your microbes. Oh, I kicked the hornet's nest. So I lost a lot of people on YouTube. They mad at me.
I want y'all to know we're not talking. I know we're not talking about this today, but I want y'all to know the new thing is there's copper pots that make your plants grow. I
Copper
just learned
pots?
this. Copper pots. I just learned this past week. They have copper pots that are alleged to make your plants grow. And I want y'all to know, any of you watching this on YouTube, Instagram, because we're all on all these platforms, if you want to give your money to buy these pots, I can just give you my Cash App, and at least you know it's going to a good source.
Yeah, you
So,
know,
mhm.
I feel like a lot of times people don't think things through. And, if copper was this magical thing, then every industrial farm would just have these things installed all throughout and they would just increase their yield, right? It's all about making money. They would increase their yield tremendously with something that's as affordable as a few copper rods.
There would be no hunger, there would be no climate change, there would be no nothing. We would live in almost a paradise-like state if that was true.
Mm-mm. No, they was mad at me.
And I'm not going to
Oh.
experiment with copper. I'm not going to experiment with copper pot unless you pay you in any champ See, that's like you saying sorry. I struggle with that word. It jumped me, and y'all just let it
Oh,
happen.
that's Nicole.
Nicole, I'm glad you know because that word jumped me, and y'all did not jump in at all. I'm not going to do it unless we do it the same thing. But I'm excited. So, what we talking about today?
We're going to talk about pest control. We get so many questions about pests, and everyone has to deal with pests. If you're growing anything outside, you are going to deal with pests. That's just going to be a part of it. And we can talk about everything from our fungal pests to our bacterial pests to our insect pests to our mammalian pests to our reptilian pests to our human pests. Some of us deal with that as well.
No, look, I think he working with a pest right now.
I
Well,
did.
I'll
I
tell you
got
what,
to.
I've got the solution for that pest. Sonia's bug spray. I'll tell you what, my bottle's a little worn out because I've been using it, but this is amazing. And if you have any problems with mosquitoes or anything that's bothering you, ticks, if someone was telling me that there's ticks in the grass in Mexico, and that's why I need to keep my grass super low.
Mhm.
But no critters go in my backyard, and ticks kind of need a carrier to go on. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. But I'll tell you what, this stuff feels like lotion. You'll put it on and you will not believe it's gonna work because it feels so freaking good. You're gonna think that this can't be working because it just feels like lotion, but it works. It stops anything from biting you, even large animals. All right.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can get it
and
on
you
you
know
can get
both.
it on soniasbugspray.com.
Yeah, and you know both Andre and I. Derek likes to tease us talking about how much land we have, but we do have water behind our property, so mosquitoes love our property.
Yep.
Mm. And all the acreage they got, because I don't know if y'all know, between the two of them, they got about 75 acres and two mules. So I just want y'all to know they got it.
I think that between the two of us, we own about 80% of the land in the United States of America.
I think they do. I mean, they're and Andre got a considerable amount of Mexico. They named a couple of restaurants after Andre. That's why he went out there. But this is dope. Y'all make sure y'all get that product. Sonia is putting commentary about the code Andre the Farmer 15 for a discount. We know times is hard, and we don't want to bug your wallet, right? So go ahead and make sure you use that today.
Hey, someone mentioned something about poor Andre was torn apart after using condensed milk in an avocado drink. Yes, it was crazy. Like I swear, like you put any recipe on there, and someone's gonna come along and tell you how evil your ingredients are and how you should make this thing taste like crap. Um, but yeah, I had to deal with a lot of that on there. But
I'm
I'm
sorry
trying
to
to
hear
explain to
that.
people, no, this is not like something that you just drink all day, every day. This is a treat. It's supposed to taste good. There's gonna be sugar in it. There's gonna be calories in it
No.
because this is something supposed to be delicious. But some people just can't get that.
So, look, I'm glad you mentioned that because my mother-in-law, I love her to death, but sometimes she would experiment with smoothies, right? And she would put weird things in there, and be like, "Here, taste this." And before I knew any better, she would be like, "Hey, taste this," and I was like, "Oh, what is that? Oh, I put some garlic in there. That's gonna make the smoothie healthy for you." I was like, "Garlic? Like, no, it's supposed to taste good. Like, can't put blueberries, strawberries, and then garlic? No, it's
Yeah,
gotta
Yeah,
taste good."
yeah, exactly. Like I tell people all the time, I don't eat anything because it's healthy. I eat things that taste good that are healthy. But if
exactly.
you tell me I've got to eat something that tastes like crap because it's healthy, no, I'm going to find whatever nutrients I need from an alternate source. There's never just one thing that can get you what you need.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm glad you
pests. We're
mentioned
supposed to talk about pests today, guys.
pests. That's right, pests, pests, pests. All right, so okay, question for you, Andre. We're all in different zones, right? What's your biggest pest problem on your property? I think I know the answer to this. As soon as I said it,
I'm going to start with my mammal pest, which is squirrels. And I have to lump squirrels and raccoons together because I feel like a lot of what I blame on squirrels might actually be raccoons too.
could be, could be, could be.
So those are my two sort of biggest mammalian pests.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Let's start with mammals. Let's work our way down. We'll start with mammals. What's your biggest pest?
Honestly, when it comes to the mammals, I really don't have any problems with the mammals. I mean, because you know me, Mr. Rogers of the Garden. I'm like, kumbaya. Everybody come on over. It's a party. I mean, I do have armadillos that come and visit me frequently. And honestly, all the armadillos really do is they just pull up my walkway, my walking path. But that just tells me that I need to put some actual rock down and maybe they'll stop digging it up. So I'm not really mad at the armadillos like talking about.
Here's what I envision happening at Gray's house. So the chipmunks they gather together, they come up his driveway, they knock on the door, and Gray comes out, and they jump on his shoulder and run up his arm and give him kisses. And he says, and they say, "How can we help you in the garden today, sir?" And you give them little assignments and tell them to go plant some nuts here and do things like that. And that's the extent of your sort of mammal interaction out there. Is that
Basically,
pretty
I mean,
accurate?
I have had squirrels plant seeds. They literally have. I didn't ask them, but they have planted seeds. I'm like, look at them be digging up. Okay, you plant that tomato over there. I'm not even mad at them. Do your thing, brother.
Yeah. See, I'm straight at war with these things here. Like here's my idea. I want to get like a baby squirrel, and I want to train that baby squirrel to be a squirrel assassin. I want to train that baby squirrel to just get in with other squirrels, and then accidents happen. Like to just train that squirrel to just take out other squirrels. That's my ultimate goal. But I'll tell you, this is my honest way that I've learned to deal with squirrels. Is
Wait,
I
so you saying you want to make a John Wick of the squirrel world?
Exactly. I would love to have a John Wick squirrel. I would love to have a John Wick squirrel. But no, but honestly, here's what I have done. All right. I've realized that the way to defeat squirrels is to grow more than they can eat. You just gotta grow more than they can eat. And that's kind of what I did this year with the mangoes. I feel like I've finally gotten to a point where they can have some, I can have some, and we can all be cool because there's enough mangoes out there for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm glad you say that. I've been quiet for a while because I was trying to fix some stuff on the YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and jump here. I'm going to tell you a war story that I've had with squirrels because, I think we can talk about pest solutions. I know people got questions on what to do inside and outside, but sharing these war stories is what will really help the people to see that we just like you, except for, the rest of us that don't have 120 acres of land between the two of them like these other two here. So when it comes to squirrels. This is an alleged story I heard from this guy from New Bern, North Carolina, out east. He had this beautiful garden in his grandmother's yard. It was phenomenal, right? Beautiful thyme, mint. The yard was taken care of by this elderly woman before his grandmother, not mine. His grandmother got it, and he just loved to put stuff out there. And one day his grandmama was like, you know what? I want to see some bird feeders. So they went to the store. He was like 17 at the time. They got the bird feeders, put them all up everywhere. And 20 squirrels, and this is probably an overstatement, 20 squirrels jumped onto this bird feeder, this wooden bird feeder, chewed it out. So, like you, he thought maybe I can just feed them all. We got pine cones all over the yard. We can just cover them in peanut butter and bird seed. It's going to be fantastic. If we do 20 to 30 of them, surely the squirrels won't eat them all. And the squirrels took every last one of them. Everyone disappeared. His brother made one with this fancy ornate hook. He thought the neighborhood kids stole it. He found it later when he was raking the yard, and he was pissy as can be. So he mixed up a concoction, as it were, and took out a neighborhood of squirrels. And anytime he travels back to New Bern, all the wildlife seems to shift. So, that's just a war story I heard one time before, potentially by some guy. He took out a neighborhood of squirrels. So
Right,
I don't
but
think you can feed them.
there are ways to deal with squirrels that are non-lethal, right?
There are. I
Like
know.
I've tried a lot of different solutions, and a lot of these things work for a while. But squirrels are mammals, means they're fairly smart, and they figure things out.
They are.
So one of the things you can do is have decoys around, right? Like you can have the fake snakes, the fake
Hmm.
owl, all the little fake predators around, and you have to move them regularly because if they sit in one spot for a long time, then the squirrels realize that this is nothing at all. But that's one of the things I've done. Found that the fake snakes work pretty good, but you just have to move them around a lot. And you should probably not be a person that's terrified of snakes because you're going to forget that you put fake snakes in your garden, and you're going to lose it when you walk in there. Yes, you could definitely eat the squirrels too. I'm not going to deny or confirm that I've eaten a squirrel from my backyard or not, but
Ooh, don't
um,
tell me that and you don't eat watermelon. Keep going.
it's not that I don't eat watermelon. It's like watermelon is just like a literal neutral food for me. Like it's like if it's there, like I may or may not have a piece, but I get nothing from it.
Look,
It's just
look, I'm Derek. I'm gonna have a party, and y'all gonna come to my house, and I'm gonna have a platter full of watermelon just for Andre.
You please. And I'm gonna sit there and watch and be like, I
listen.
hope you eat this. And I'm gonna
I'll
find
be perfectly comfortable walking right past it, so that'll be perfectly fine.
I'll follow you with it.
Now groundhogs, like for most people, groundhogs, from my understanding, we don't really have them here. Do you guys have them where you are?
I don't, but I've helped a lot of people with groundhog and vole problems too.
Okay, what have you told them about that?
Mechanical barriers. Mechanical barriers. Now, the sad thing about it is you kind of have to know beforehand
You
that
do.
you have a groundhog problem. This is one of those hindsight is 50, 2020, not 50-50, 2020. So if you realize you have that groundhog problem, you can before you put your raised beds in ground or your square footage gardening, 2 feet down, you put in some wire mesh. Not even chicken wire. I mean, like almost looking
Has to
like
be
some
tough.
chain mail type of stuff. You need to put down because groundhogs will pull that chicken wire right out of there. You put that down first, then you plan your garden. But like I said, you kind of have to have that precognitive intuition to be like, oh, I'm gonna have groundhogs and voles. And
Yep.
other than that, trapping.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
Yeah,
traps
Yeah.
do
but
kill.
but yeah, and you when you trap, even when you don't use the lethal ones, like here in North Carolina, you can't release them anywhere else. So if you find them on your property, they just have to be there. So you can only release them onto your property and or release them to Jesus. That's it.
Release them to Jesus. So someone asked a quick question. They asked if we ever grown Everglades tomatoes. Yes, I have. To the point now where they just grow. They voluntarily grow in my garden every year, and they grow like crazy. If you live in warm climates, they're super easy to grow. Super easy to grow.
I never heard had them before. We had a person on YouTube also comment every year. The squirrels in their backyard eats all their apples, but they don't touch their peaches and plums, and that's because squirrels are little demons. And I want you all to keep this in mind. They're little evil, vile things.
They are. They are. They are. So, so groundhogs. The other thing is for a lot of your pests that sort of sniff around your garden, sometimes cayenne peppers. They even have things at Home Depot that are supposed to deter rodents, powders and things like that that you can sprinkle around. I'm not sure what the composition of those things are, so I can't really recommend them or not. But I would look into the composition of them to find out if it's food safe or not. But like things like cayenne peppers and just things that critters don't like cayenne pepper, cinnamon, black pepper. Like a lot of these things are things that irritate the nose of some of these critters when they're sniffing around. And if you circle your garden with that, it will help deter them temporarily. But as soon as it rains or you water your garden a couple of times, most of that stuff is gone.
They're coming right back. Yeah. I think one of the active ingredients that I've seen in one of those kind of rid all kind of pest type of things is cedarwood oil. So I think that's one of the active ingredients because I don't know. I love the smell of cedar, but apparently a lot of these pests that we're talking about don't really care for it. So that's one of the active ingredients I did see and I can retain right off the top of my head.
Wolf urine does not work. It smells beyond effort. Okay, all right. Wolf urine. I've heard of people using predator urine as well as a thing. I don't know. I feel like these squirrels, like if they don't have these natural predators around, then they tend to not really care that much that they
Yeah.
smell a wolf that they
Yeah.
probably
And I
know is
Because
mean,
not there.
they probably know like the packaged stuff, and this isn't sound gross, probably isn't like the fresh stuff. Like the fresh things, I've seen the wolf, and that illusion is different, or even the decoys is probably different than whatever packaged product they got that's shelf stable.
Yeah,
mhm.
planting mint or dill, um, I think that's going to deter some of the insect pests.
Yeah.
But squirrels are not going to like not eat a tomato because it's next to a dill or a mint.
Yeah, they'll still come up in if they really are one that they'll figure out a way. So I mean, and that's the thing. Now I know we're talking anti-squirrel, but I love squirrels because of how intelligent they are. Look, got twitches over there. I
Yeah,
love the
I have
fact
this
that they're
thing I do. I'm
problem
sorry.
solvers. And so for some, that can be, yeah, that can be a nuisance. I just love their level of intelligence. So yeah, I'm all kumbaya, singing to the squirrels in the morning, drinking my coffee.
Like a Disney movie.
What was that
Like,
question on YouTube there about cedar wood?
mhm.
So they were asking if they had cedar wood near their apple tree, would that help? So I guess they're asking if cut wood or even a cedar tree, would that help to prevent? And all of these things that we're saying that are natural, it depends on a lot of different factors. Like a lot of people will swear by mint keeping the rodents away and these smells keeping the rodents away. And some of it will be just like masking the scent of something they're looking for. But I had a slew of rabbits, which are also in that general woven mints are supposed to keep them away thing. And I had chocolate mint growing everywhere. And they were still, and other mints growing everywhere, and they were still eating my loofah. So with some of these things, I'll always say mechanical, a barrier is going to always be the best way of keeping these things away.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm all about companion planting too, because I know a lot of folks are recommending companion planting. I am all about it. But when it comes to squirrels, it only goes so far. It will help with a lot of pests. But with squirrels, I'm really like, let's go two stage. You can do your companion planting, but also come some kind of mechanical barrier because they still will get around
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Someone asked about lemongrass.
Give me some
They're
more
in
lemongrass.
11A, Miami area. Um, Boy, lemongrass I find really hard to kill. Like if I take out a clump of lemongrass and stick it somewhere else, and then I got another clump of lemongrass. Like, and I don't take care of my lemongrass at all. I don't think Miami's too hot for you to grow it because I'm in Orlando. I would just try again. Just maybe initially don't let it dry out. But once it's established, it's a really hard thing to kill. It's just like most other grasses.
But are they keeping it in a pot, or are they trying to plant it in the ground? That might be the variable there. Yeah, because if you just try to keep it in a container, maybe that might be the problem, and it's drying out so soon.
Yeah. So Mercy said the plant alliums, the salvias, lavender, cloak plants with scent. Yeah, that is great for insect pests because insect pests are generally going on scent. But those squirrels, when they see a mango or they see a fruit, like they're going on sight, right? They're going on scent too, something, but they're mostly going on sight. They see something that they want to eat and they're gonna go get that thing and they don't care what other smells are around. But that stuff is great for what we're gonna talk about later, which is the insect pests, which we can keep away with those things.
Hmm. Yeah,
Most
yeah,
definitely.
for sure. So, what are the mammals? Any other mammals? Oh, speaking of mammals, again, I was talking to my mother-in-law, and she came across a snake. Because she has an apartment here on my house. Because like Derek says, I have 375 acres,
He
and
does.
she came across a snake. And she was like, "Oh, you got to do something about these snakes." I was like, "Well, if we get rid of the snakes, then that means we're going to get an influx of the field mice and rats. The snakes are here for a reason." Now, it was a black rat snake, but when we were talking about those predatory animals to have around, like the snakes and like the owls, that's one place I'm lucky because I have literally all of that in my backyard. I mean, I have a barred owl I literally see every morning. I'm like, "Hey, it's time for you to go to sleep. You out late tonight." So they take care of those pests. It's like the
Yeah.
circle of life, out there.
Yeah, that's another thing you can do is encourage predators to be in your backyard. I'm trying to get some stray cats back there to handle these squirrels. But the problem with cats is they eat too many birds and they kill too many birds. So I'm not trying to do that. But having snakes is a good thing. A lot of times people are asking like, how do I keep snakes away? How do I avoid snakes? No, you want snakes. Snakes are your friend. The more snakes, I wish I had 10 times. Not even 10 times. I wish I had 20, 30, 40 times the amount of snakes that I have in my backyard. I wish that I saw snakes in my backyard every single day. I wish that I had to dodge snakes while I was walking through my backyard.
You
Like
lost a lot of
that's
people at
amazing.
this point. There's a lot of people who are slowly starting to leave. They were like, this man has lost his ever loving mind. He is sitting here, I want to have so many snakes. But I think the thing that we have to think about, and I tell this to my aunt often, who will be like, oh, I saw a snake in the backyard. You saw one snake because it was probably chasing something that you didn't want to see, like a mouse, like a possum, like a raccoon or something, any of those things.
Big
But
ass snake is
if
chasing
you,
a raccoon.
yeah,
I
but
was
if
thinking
you,
out like that's a big old
you know,
snake.
I'm here in the country. Okay, the things is bigger here. They ain't got nothing to do but to get big. But when it comes to that, if you did see 40 times the snakes that you usually see, you would eventually see none because they would get all the food and they would leave. They would leave and they would go on about their business.
Yeah, and
Somebody in
and
the
and
chat,
very few. Huh?
somebody in the chat says Dr. Jones has left the chat. I love it. Like snakes. Why do they have to
Dr.
be
Jones.
snakes? Good one.
All right. So, speaking of reptiles, I think that for the most part, reptiles are good. There's only one group of reptiles that I feel, well, there's two groups of reptiles that I feel are real pests for us
Okay,
here.
what's them?
One of them is iguanas. For the people in South Florida, iguanas are a pain in the butt. They eat their fruit. They are a hassle. And I think the best solution is to eat them.
Oh my God.
Listen, I had iguana when I was in Trinidad, and it is absolutely delicious.
Wow. You
I
are the
guess
true
that's good.
crocodile Dundee. I love it.
I love that for you, I guess.
What? What?
I
These
have
guys are.
never I've had alligator before, but I've never had iguana. That's a new one.
All right.
I've had rattlesnake, but I have not had alligator or shark or iguana. And I have the
I have not
opportunity.
had iguana. I mean, I've not had rattlesnake. Sorry, I've not had rattlesnake.
I've had rattlesnake here. It was in a corn dog. It was very rattlesnake and ostrich are very gamey,
Oh no,
but
ostrich
I've
is
not
great.
had.
I had an ostrich steak. It was unbelievable.
Maybe they cooked it different than the ostrich
I
burgers I
cooked
had, but it was so salty. As you go, it was salty where I got it from. I didn't cook that meat.
Okay,
It was so
they didn't cook
salty.
it. They didn't cook it. I'll tell you, my ostrich
Uh,
steak was insane. It was so good.
we love to see it. And you know, you when you were cooking that ostrich, did you like cut that meat up yourself
I did. I did.
with your own tools?
Well, it was a cut, like it was a steak. So
Yeah, but you like cut it with like a fork and knife.
yes, I did.
Because you know, when you are using tools, you have to make sure they're doing it in a good way. See, he forgot what happened. He ain't been here in a week.
Listen,
When
Yeah,
you
listen,
he
are
listen,
got.
listen,
using,
listen, listen. No, I didn't think it was happened. I just felt like we took a left turn. I felt like you were like right in the right direction, and then you went.
yeah, I did.
Like,
You when I get y'all in the car one day, y'all gonna be so happy driving with me. I'm the best driver in the world. Get you some retain today because with this retain, you can make sure that all of your cuts matter. Retain, you can get it on the Walmarts and on the Amazons and the retainsspray.com. Somebody put that in the comments. Retain, Retain, spray.com because it cuts, it lubes, it stops rust, and it sanitizes. Now, y'all see Andre and Gray making cuts and props all the time. I just saw somebody talking about a class they took with Andre where they got to do their own grafting from his personal mangoes or something. I saw somebody talk about that. They were excited. And I know he uses this product to give himself some great success. So if you are growing your plants, get you some Retain today. Again, it's a good thing to spray on your tools when you're propagating, when you're making cuts, so you don't give your plants disease. Get you some Retain today. Keep going, Andre.
it's all natural, and it retains. Sorry, it lubricates and disinfects your tools at the same time. But you know where I thought you were going? We were
That's where
What
I
did you
thought he
talking
say?
was
about
going too.
food. We were talking about steaks, and we were talking about the deliciousness of the steak. I
You thought you
thought
could
for
predict me.
sure
Oh,
you were
you thought
going
you could
right
predict.
here to the sweet and spicy pepper sauce, my sweet and spicy pepper sauce. That's where I thought you were going with that,
See,
and I was ready
uh-uh.
for you to go there.
You can never predict where I'm going. I'm
Apparently
unpredictable,
not.
like that Jamie Foxx song. So this is some good stuff. For those of you also get it, you can get this on andrethefarmer.com, and you can also get this on Amazon, right, or Walmart. Did I make
Right,
that up?
and it's Amazon. It's all natural. Got 8 different fruits and vegetables in it, and it's absolutely delicious. I guarantee you're gonna love it. All right,
Yes, get you
all right,
some.
all
So
right.
I thought he was going there too, but like, no, he went.
Yeah, it's like, were
once
you
I
using
said
tools?
cut,
Were you eating with tools? I
yeah,
was like,
you
what?
eating with utensils, tools, cut.
Yes, I'm
That's where
gonna
we're going.
wash my dishes with Retain. All
You
right.
should.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right, all right. So the other reptiles. So I said with the iguanas were one reptile, right? And I
Yeah, what's
think
the
Mhm.
other
with
one?
iguanas, they're invasive. So you are allowed to remove them in any manner you see fit. And I suggest that you eat them. I suggest you eat them. But anyways, if you don't want to eat them, then you do something else with them. But they are invasive, and you are allowed to dispose of them in any way you see fit. All right. And the second reptile.
Yes,
Can you
what's the
guys guess what
second
the
one?
second reptile is that's a nuisance? A
I,
group of reptiles. It's a large group of reptiles.
I don't know. Because I don't have any reptiles that bother me here, so I don't know what it is. I just hate seeing lizards, but I don't have nothing that
Oh,
bothers me
I've got
here.
a
So what is
bunch
it
of
with
lizards.
you?
I got skinks and all kind of lizards out there. I love them.
Yeah, they
And I
just
posted a
call them
skink
nothing.
video today. Well, the second group of reptiles are birds.
Oh, I see what you
That's
did
Birds
there.
true.
are reptiles.
You're
So,
right.
so birds are another possible pest in your garden. I know when I first started growing blueberries, I stopped growing blueberries because I didn't want to have to put nets over my blueberries because the birds started eating the blueberries year two. So, for birds, I find that netting is really the main thing.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly,
Mm,
that's the only thing I can recommend is netting. But you have to put your netting in a position. Let's see, that's the double-edged sword. When you're using the netting, you're also cutting out your pollinators too. So,
But
but
don't you
you know
put the
what?
netting on like after your fruits have already been pollinated? So once you see fruit set, then you net, you know?
Maybe, maybe. But you know what I've done? Now, going back to what we were saying about the squirrels, I feed my birds. I actually feed my birds. I do, yes. laughing at me. I
I'm not
feed the
laughing at you.
birds.
I'm laughing at YouTube. Go ahead.
I feed the birds because birds are actually natural pest, pesticide. I mean, they will go through
They
and
will.
clean out a lot of pests in your garden. So, hey, yeah, I might lose a few blueberries in the process, but I'm like, that's the price of playing the game. But I do put out bird feed so that they have something, and I put out a watering source for them too, because I want them to come to my garden like, hey, eat them hornworms. Because did you
Yep.
know? Okay, both of you, do you
Uh-huh.
know that a hornworm
Yes.
can defoliate a tomato within 24 hours, like the whole plant?
I'm sure it
Oh,
can. I've seen them do
I
it to my
know for
peppers.
sure. I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Wow. I mean, that happened to me, because I had my basil around my tomatoes, but I didn't have it on one side. I went out there the next morning, not a leaf on that bad boy from one hornworm.
Yep. Yep.
I hate
I'll
those
do it. I
things.
agree with the bird thing too, because we have a couple bird feeders here as well. And having birds in your garden is amazing because birds have a crazy, amazing vision, and they can pick a lot of those insects out, individually that are really hard for us to see. So definitely encourage birds. If we're talking about using predators, having wasp in your garden is another great thing as well too. And I see a lot of people always want to kill wasp or get rid of a wasp nest every time they see it. Wasps are amazing insect predators, and they're good pollinators too.
Unless
They
they're yellow
are.
jackets. Yellow jackets are jerks. I don't care what nobody say. Yellow jackets are jerks.
Now, yellow jackets are demons, but wasps, y'all, I always say this, and I said this at the event I was at this past week. Wasps get a bad rap like black women. We look at them like they are aggressive and they're this and they're that and all these things, but wasps literally don't bother you. Now, I did have a nest that I had to get rid of on my patio, but if I was in like a yard space and I could just give them their own corner that's not going to bother me and not going to bother them, have it. Like, enjoy it because they do protect your plants. They do things for I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. They do little things for you and they take good care of you. Okay. So please work with your pollinators when you can.
I would
Yeah.
argue that I would rather have more wasp in my garden than honeybees.
Now that's true.
Well, because they serve dual purpose. Now, granted, their
Right.
bodies are slick, so they can't pollinate as well as a honeybee could, because they
That's
have,
true.
honeybees have that fuzziness. That's why they're able to
Right.
pollinate so much. But the fact that a lot of your parasitic wasps, they're going to be the ones that's also pollinating and taking out other pests.
Right.
So dual duty,
Oh,
I
And
get it.
mhm.
also, wasps are not going to be so plant specific, right? So, like, if your honeybees are onto a specific plant that's like a mile away from your house, they're not coming for anything in your garden. They're only going to that thing. And I've had honeybees. I raised honeybees for 5 years, and that's one of the things I learned. I thought, boy, if I have my own bees here, oh, everything's getting pollinated. Meanwhile, I'd have a star fruit that'd be like right next to the hive, not a single bee on it. They're not even touching it because
They're
they
like, no, I'm
found
good.
a bigger food source. And once they find a source, they're very specific about what they're getting. They're going to get all their pollen, all their honey, all their nectar from that one source. Until that source finishes out, then they're going to find another large source.
Derek, who do honeybees sound like to you that's in our immediate friend group right now? They're very specific on what they like to eat. Who does that sound like to you?
I can't put my finger on it, but I don't know. I know that I've never seen a honeybee touch a watermelon, but you know what's that to say about me? I don't know. I don't know. So
I
we
don't
got some
I don't think I'm super specific. I think I'm very adventurous in the things that I eat, I think. Because
of
when it
course,
comes to like fruits and meats, I'll eat all kinds of things. I'll eat every animal.
yes, but not every fruit. So that's great. We have the people in the comments who are saying the YouTube comments are going wild. Don't look at them; it will distract the bejesus out of you. Are roundworms good in garden areas? That's from too humble to stumble. Praise God. Are roundworms good in garden areas?
I'm
Round.
not familiar. Like what kind of roundworms?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, let's get a
Um,
follow up to that.
and then Enterprise is asking you, Andre, does it help to have different species of
Yes.
bees?
When I say honeybees, I'm talking about European honeybees, not native bees. Native bees are great. Native bees are probably the best pollinators. They will go all over the place, and those are the bees we have to save. When people say we need to save the bees, it's not honeybees we have to save. Honeybees are fine. So when people say like we got to save the bees by saving honeybees, it's like trying to save the birds by saving chickens. Like
Mm.
those are good. They're going to be fine because they have a use for us. It's the native bees that we need to save.
So, real quick, when they were talking about roundworms, I had to, because I never called them roundworms, it caught me off guard. But they're talking about nematodes.
Nematodes.
Mm.
People do call them roundworms.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we're talking about nematodes, you have to understand there's two different classes of nematodes. There's the harmful nematodes and then there's your beneficial. So when we're talking about the harmful ones, usually those are your root knot nematodes and they're microscopic, so you can't see them. The only way you will see them is in the roots of your plant. And you'll see all these little nodules all over your plant. That's how you know that you have root knot nematodes. And now
They're a
you can
big
buy
problem here.
beneficial ones.
Yeah,
Go
they're a
ahead.
big problem here, and they're a big problem like for figs specifically. Like when we try to grow figs in the ground here, the root knot nematodes are just a pain in the butt.
Hmm. Yeah, good question though. But there are natural ways that you can get rid of the root knot nematodes, but it really is going to. This is not something that you're going to have to just apply a solution to. I know a lot of times in the garden, in life in general, we just want to hit the easy button. This is going to be a cultural practice. You're going to have to practice your crop rotations, making sure that you're not rotating certain crops with other crops. For instance, I think Andre, I was talking to you. It was something that you were planting and you wanted to plant strawberries maybe right after it. This is a while ago. This was like a year ago we were talking about this. So don't try to remember. I have
Mm.
a crazy brain. My brain's crazy. But I think you were doing like I think you were doing potatoes, but then you were like,
Okay.
oh yeah, now I want to put some strawberries in. I like, dude, don't do that because potatoes are known for having root knot nematodes in the soil afterwards. So, like, if you do strawberries, I mean, they're highly susceptible to root knot nematodes. I wouldn't recommend. I would say put another bumper crop in there.
Yeah, I think that was a great idea because all the strawberries are gone. So So, so because it was a bed that just had a little bit of potato, but had other stuff in it too, and it was a raised bed, and it was kind of the only spot I had available. And I got these bare roots from a friend, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stick them in there, and they were actually doing pretty okay. And then something came and kind of dug up the whole thing, and then they were still in there, and then all of a sudden, like they're all just dead and gone. So you're probably right. It was probably the nematodes probably took them out. So you got to listen to people when they tell you stuff, guys. Um, there was a question here that I saw. Oh yeah, you can definitely get those native bee houses. They're just like little tubes, like little bamboo tubes, all stuck together. And native bees are solitary, most of them, so they can actually just sort of build their own little solitary hives or nests inside there and lay their eggs and such.
Yeah, my buddy on YouTube, the Gen X gardener out in Canada, he
Hmm.
made one in his garden. It looked really sweet. I mean, he had all the little cones in there. It was really cool. That's a good DIY project. So if you're trying to get kids into gardening and being more familiar with the insects in the garden and so forth, that's a good DIY for kids.
I'll tell you what, I think I might make one because I've got bamboo growing all over the place. And it makes it perfect. It gets a bunch of little cuts and just stick them together, wrap it with something and hang it up. And now you've got a native beehive. I think I might make a couple of those.
Yeah.
That's going to be a project for me one of these weekends. Maybe this weekend we'll do it.
Don't you you sometimes work with a school too, right? You volunteer like with
I
a school.
do. I have a couple
See,
community gardens in school. Actually, that would be a great project for us to do.
yeah. You try it out first, but then definitely do that with the kids. I think they'll
I
love
think
that, dude.
so. I think so. Yeah. I like it. I like it.
Then he's gonna get another 2 million followers.
He
But
will. God bless
I'll
him.
tell you what, I have my followers have been going down. Like
What?
in the last probably 2 months, I am down on Instagram and TikTok. Like not down a lot, but it's not growing. It's down. It's not.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm shadow banned. I think on TikTok right now. I'm getting like no
Man.
views or anything. But anyways, that's my own personal stuff.
It's, things happen. They just want to keep us down, but we're going to keep growing.
Hmm. And keep sharing. That's what we do. Look, it's about educating. It's about helping folks. So you know my philosophy. if I'm helping one gardener, I feel like I've done my job. So,
All
you
right,
know,
Red asks, can you help me understand why I have an overpopulation of ants?
When you have an overpopulation of ants, you have ants because they move into a space they think is beautiful for them. So ants love some good, freshly turned soil or a space that is really set up to give them the food and abundance they need, and especially in a garden. If there's aphids in the garden, they will then farm those aphids and get the honeydew from them and then use them. Like aphids are cows um, to the ant world. So that's really one of the reasons why.
uh,
If they are fire ants, I say get a pesticide and treat them. If it is not fire ants, unless you suffer from anaphylactic, if you get bit by an ant, I would just say leave them be.
Right. Yeah.
I second
Yeah.
that emotion.
Yeah. My thing is, if the ants are not fire ants and they're not farming some sort of pest, then I ignore them. I don't care about them at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're
so
actually pollinators too.
yeah,
yes, but again, for those of you who are allergic, I do understand because I worked with a guy who got bit. It was terrible.
yeah.
It was the wildest story ever. I'll tell it one day, but not today. Y'all keep going.
Yeah. No, someone asked, like, aren't they beneficial in the garden? Yeah, not only are they pollinators, they will help decompose. They help with decomposition of your organic matter in your soil too. So they'll help break it down. So again, going back to something that my buddy Derek says all the time, it's going to make those nutrients in your soil more readily available for your plants. So yeah, they actually help break down organic matter.
Yeah. And they can also control pests in your garden as well to some degree,
Hmm.
depending on the type of ants they are.
Yeah.
So I guess the last thing, or not the last thing, but the second last thing would be like insects. Like, what's our main way to control insect pests in our gardens? And I know for me, it's companion planting. That's like always my first go-to.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that emotion. It's all about companion planting with me. I mean, even though I lost that one tomato plant because it got completely defoliated, I mean, on the other side of that bed, I had like seven other tomato plants that were all surrounded by my basil.
Mhm.
And it's so easy because if you're gardening, you're probably growing these herbs anyway. It's all in how you plant them around your garden. So, for instance, rosemary. I literally probably have about six bushes of rosemary strategically all throughout my yard because one, I love the way rosemary smells. It smells amazing. I cook with it, and then it does wonders for pest control.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and for those who don't understand the concept of companion planting, it's basically just planting other plants and plants in combination with each other so that they can benefit each other. So if you're growing a whole field of tomatoes or a bed of tomatoes, an insect that eats tomatoes can smell tomatoes from a mile away because it's just tomatoes. But if you put basil, rosemary, mint, all kinds of different things in there, now there's no clear scent of tomatoes. So an insect that's looking for tomatoes may not find your bed. And if you can prevent insects from finding your bed in the first place, it's a lot easier than trying to get rid of them once they found it.
Right. Because at
Yeah,
the end of the day, you're creating an ecosystem. That's the thing we need to realize is that you are literally ringing the dinner bell anytime you start growing any kind of food. And that's a good sign. If things are eating your garden, that means you must be doing something right. So don't try to get rid of all of them if you can. Because I know a lot of folks will like to go in with pesticides and such. And don't get it twisted. I totally understand. There are situations when you need to go with a pesticide. Like if you own an orchard and you're growing peaches and you're a commercial farmer, well, yeah, of course, you're going to have to come in with a pesticide because honestly, there's no way to stop those worms from coming to your orchard because you're monoculture. You're growing one thing. So it's like, hey, come and eat me. So I get it. But for us gardeners, I would say if you can incorporate some companion planting, if you have questions, ask Andre, ask Derek. We're here to help.
Yeah. And the thing about
exactly.
a peach orchard too is like, people say, I don't want any pesticide on my peaches or whatever, but you also don't want the peach with a blemish, right? So when they bring these peaches to market and they've got little holes in them, the same person said they don't want pesticides is the same person who will not pick up that peach with a little dot on it, right? So, so it's kind of a double-edged sword there for these guys.
Exactly, Mundo. And I mean, when you're growing all these plants, especially for insects, like to allude to what both of them have said, you're growing an ecosystem that could hopefully help the predators to exist, to those pests that you don't want. Dragonflies, brachioniid wasps, all of the above to keep your plant safe.
Oh yeah. Oh, with that being said, guys, I didn't tell you this weekend I had a praying mantis hanging out on my maypops, like sitting there right on the flower, and I was just like, dude. And it's so funny because the day before that, and I took a bunch of video. I had maybe 6 or 7 caterpillars all on that. I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it outside, all hanging out on that passion fruit. Next day, praying mantis is just sitting there chilling. I'm like, ooh, he must be full because I didn't see not one caterpillar on there.
You know what I love about praying mantis is like praying mantis, they don't give a damn what they're eating. Like literally, if they're in a fight with something, they will grab it and they will start eating it before the fight is even over. Like they just start eating it. The thing's like still trying to fight, and they're just I'm not worried eating.
Yep. Yep. Totally.
Most def. And to go back into the pesticides, because I do see the comment at the bottom. I know a lot of us are fearful of pesticides, but anything you put onto your gardens, out into your gardens, in order to keep a pest away or to get rid of a pest is a pesticide, whether you make it yourself or you get it from a grocery store. The thing is, though, when you make it yourself, who's to say what the lasting effects will be? So that's the thing I'll say there.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people get really hung up on things being natural versus man-made, right? And remember, arsenic, mercury, lead, those are all naturally occurring elements. And you wouldn't want any of that anywhere near any of your food. So something being natural does not make it inherently good, and something being man-made does not make it inherently bad. So find out what the thing actually is and what the effects of the thing actually are. And don't reject them just out of hand because they're a pesticide or because they're man-made. That doesn't make something good or bad.
Yeah. And you know what? If you always have questions, I mean, or if you ever have questions, you can check with us. But I'm going to tell you another source, and we talk about it every single episode because it's just that important. Your local ag extension. Check on the website for your local ag extension. Now, you probably couldn't put a brand name of a product on because your local ag extension won't endorse any brands. But if you say, hey, what does copper fungicide do? Boom, it will tell you what copper fungicide is. Copper fungicide is an active ingredient in a lot of the fungicides that's commercially sold, just so you know. But that's what I'm telling. I'm giving you an example. You can ask those questions. You can do those searches right there on your local ag extension's website, and they'll tell you the hard code, scientifically based facts.
Yep. Someone asked a question about red wigglers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
That
yeah,
was
red
way at the
wigglers.
beginning.
Oh, what was that?
That was the person from the beginning.
Okay, okay. Oh, when they said roundworms, they meant red wigglers.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
big difference. Yeah, red wigglers are great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're great for your vermiculture and if you're doing that and all that stuff. Yeah, definitely
Mm-hmm.
great. Peppermint, great deterrent. Yes, peppermint is a great deterrent for insects. Any good plants to use for natural pesticides in Georgia? I think you mean companion plants more so
Mm-hmm.
than pesticides.
They probably mean there's people who will be like, I put this lemongrass in my water and it's a pesticide. So they probably mean.
Mm-hmm.
I love when you say it with that voice. It's like
I try not to. I can't sometimes help myself, but it's a video I'm thinking of. And guys like, I do it. He's here in North Carolina. Makes me sick to my stomach. But go ahead, keep going.
All right, hit up extension. It's your county extension. They have really weird, awkward names, but every county has like a agricultural like support system that the government has put in place. And
Mm-hmm.
they're usually your county ag extension or some other stupid name like that. But it's something that people can use as a resource. You can just call them up or Google them or email them, and they'll help you out with whatever gardening problems that you have. And it's great because they know your area because they're in your county.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Or you can
Mundo.
just research your state ag extension too, and that'll give you the breakdown of what each county's information is too. So it might
Most
be
deaf.
easier to search state.
So when it comes to like making your own pesticides, there's a lot of things you can try to get an extract out of. Some people say tobacco. I see that in the comments. People talk about mint and lemongrass. But when you're getting these extracts, you need to make sure the chemical you're pulling out can actually be extracted by the method you're doing, which most often than not is just soaking in water. Most of you will just soak something in water and you've made a tea, and that tea is not a pesticide, it is a tea. Even tobacco, you soak them in some water. I know there's some old Southern agriculturalists who will talk about collecting old cigarette butts and putting them and soaking them in water in a tea can, a tin can. This is some real country backwoods stuff. I'm telling y'all my secrets. And they will do that and then spray it on to keep some of their plants away. And while that could be probably more effective because of the nicotine that you're probably extracting out, nicotine is also very poisonous, and you have to be careful because a small amount can make you sick or make you go up yonder. So what I typically tell people is, if you have the finances, go to your local garden center and get an organic pesticide, right? You can see the OMRI list, OMRI, and you can see the registry to see what the people have.
And just
And
so
I know,
to piggyback on that Omri list, I'm glad you mentioned that Omri list. Okay, so you have natural, you have organic, and then you have Omri. Omri, they put it through the most tests that there are possible. I mean, they run it through every test feasible. So when you're talking about Omri, like Omri's the real deal.
All right. Someone also said a great resource is the master gardeners of your area. Now, Gray, you are a master gardener. How would people like? Can people reach you through the county extension that you're in? Like, how does
can they
that
put up a
work?
bat signal and get you?
Yes, garden signal.
Yeah, you got to put up like a monstera in the sky.
I like it. I like it. No, unfortunately, folks can't reach me directly, but you can reach our local, because, like, for instance, I'm a master gardener out of Ellis County, Texas. So, being in Ellis County, they can contact Ellis County and they can, for instance, let's say, going back to your example from before, that you work with a local school, right, Andre? Well,
Mhm.
say you needed some additional help and you needed somebody to come out to do some massive amount of planting with you. You could contact your local addicts or your local master gardeners, and they might send you a couple of volunteers. Because here's the big thing, because a lot of people say, oh, great, you're a master gardener, so you can grow everything in the world. No, I'm going to tell you what a master gardener is. A master gardener is a volunteer. It's someone who's grown for a while, knows about gardening, and they're willing to come and help you basically for free. Now, there may be a fee you may have to pay to like the master gardener as a whole, but the individual master gardener, I don't get paid to come out and help you. I'm doing it because I want to volunteer. That's what a master gardener is. So yeah,
All
definitely reach out to your local county offices and they can hook you up with the local master gardeners and they can come out and help you. And I mean, it's
right.
ranging from everything from herbalists to arborists. I mean, there's a whole gamut of different master gardeners out there.
All right. Well, guys, I think we are running out of time.
Oh,
One last question: opinions on aerobic versus anaerobic fertilizers.
I was going to say, can we hold that and the conversation about KNF and JADM until next time? I need way more time
That's
than
a
we
whole
have.
topic. I
yeah.
want. How about next episode we do it on fertilizers?
Yeah, fertilizers. Let's
Yes.
talk about that. So, Red, you come back
Come back next
because
week.
there is a fertilizer I know that I use that is made by that process, the anaerobic.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, anything to say, guys? Any last parting words?
I just want to say I appreciate your time and I'll talk to you again real soon.
All right, Derek. What have you got to say to the people? What do you want
I know these pests may make you want to throw your pager out the window, right?
to?
Because there's a bugaboo, right? But I don't want you to be fearful of them. I want you to make sure you go to your local cooperative extension, agricultural extension, your extension agent, whatever they're called in your area, and make sure you know what pesticide or mechanical, cultural control, whatever have it, to be able to keep your plants together.
All right. Well, you know what? I once heard a wise person say that, if the animals and the pests are not eating your garden, then your garden is not a part of nature. So, rejoice. And another thing that I heard was, when you're growing food, you got to grow for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for the thief, and for the animals. So, so grow in abundance and you'll have plenty and you won't mind the rest of nature taking their portion out of it. But if you guys have any questions, you guys can directly message us on any of our platforms. We are all on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and we will be here again next Monday. We're here every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the Dirt on Gardening podcast. Thank you for watching, guys. See you later.